a bulging rib, but your Lord is not one-eyed. Between his eyes, on his forehead, is written the word kafir, kafara. And every mu'min will be able to read it, so Abu Lahab can't read it. Oh, but Abu Lahab has eyes. How come Abu Lahab can't read, but Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu can read? They both have a pair of eyes. How come he can read, but he can't read? Good question, eh? Every mu'min will be able to read it, kafir. Whether that mu'min is katib or ghayru katib, whether he's literate or illiterate, he can still read it. Now it's clear that the mu'min is not reading with these eyes. Do we have any other eyes beside these eyes? Do we have any other ears beside these ears? Do we have any other means of acquiring knowledge other than external observation and rational inquiry? Dajjal says no. And modern Western civilization created by Dajjal says no. This is a branch of knowledge. I'm going to use a big word now, but you can try to hold on to it and understand it. This is a branch of knowledge which is called epistemology. Epistemology. Don't forget it. It is that branch of knowledge which studies knowledge. Al-ilm al-ilm. What is knowledge? How is knowledge acquired? What are the sources of knowledge? This is epistemology. So Dajjal's epistemology is one-eyed. Knowledge comes only from external observation and rational inquiry. That, of course, is your university today. But the Quran declares something else. The Quran declares that in addition to our external eyes, we also have internal capacity to see. And if you do not see with the internal eye, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala delivers a very, very powerful warning. What does he say about such people who are internally blind, like the government of the United States of America? What does he say about such people who are internally blind? Listen to what he says. لَهُمْ قُلُوبٌ لَا يَفْقَهُونَ بِهَا وَلَهُمْ أَعْيُنٌ لَا يُبْصِرُونَ بِهَا وَلَهُمْ آذَانٌ لَا يَسْمَعُونَ بِهَا. They have eyes, but they can't see. They have ears, but they can't hear. They have hearts, but they cannot understand. أُولَٰئِكَ كَالْأَنْعَامِ. Such people are just like cattle. Even though he's a sheikh, and he has the hat and the beard, and he has a PhD from Al-Azhar, and he quotes the Quran and the Hadith, and he has a mountain of knowledge. Yes, just like cattle. Even though he has a PhD from MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, yes, still like cattle. Just like cattle. أُولَٰئِكَ كَالْأَنْعَامِ. Such people are just like cattle. But Allah goes on to say more than that. He says, بَلْ هُمْ أَضَلُّ. No, they're worse than cattle. They're more misguided than cattle. أُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْغَافِلُونَ. The attack that was launched by modern Western civilization is an epistemological attack. to get mankind to accept this lie that knowledge comes only from external observation and rational inquiry. If knowledge comes from any other source, it is not knowledge, it belongs to a place in Orlando called Disneyland. What happens? Of course, today it's called the scientific method. What happens when a people accept that knowledge comes only from external observation and rational inquiry? The answer is, listen carefully, the only world that we can know would be the world which we can observe. Since this material world is the only world we can observe, it follows that this material world is the only world which we can know. And then they throw dust in our eyes to come to the next conclusion. Since this is the only world which we can know, this is the only world which exists. Welcome to materialism. Since this is the only world we can know, this is the only world which exists. There is no world beyond this world. There is no reality beyond material reality. Everything which belongs to the unseen world now belongs to Disneyland. This is the attack on religion, on faith. The modern world now becomes known as, you've heard the word before, the secular world. I've heard people saying to me, well, you know, we did a little bit of religious education, a little bit of secular education. And by secular education, they mean, well, we went to study some physics and some chemistry and so on. That's secular education. And tafsir and hadith, that's religious education. No, brother, you don't understand the meaning of the word secular. What is secular? The opposite of secular is sacred. In order for something to become secular, you've got to take the sacred out of it. So in order for physics to become secular, you've got to take Allah out of it. Take the sacred out of it. That is secular. So once something becomes secular, it is now godless. The secular society is now the godless society. The secular world is now the godless world. This is materialism. This is the death of religion. Religion is now attacked. And the only part of religion which is now acceptable to the secular world is that part of religion which is observable. So the sacred heart of the deen, which is taqwa, the fear of Allah, that must now go. Al-ghaib now disappears from religion. When Christianity was attacked, what emerged? The Protestant movement. The Protestant movement is Christianity with the sacred heart of the religion removed from it. And then Judaism was attacked. And what emerged? Reform Judaism. Actually a secular version of Judaism. The sacred heart of the religion is destroyed. And then Hinduism was also attacked, and Islam was attacked. As we adopt and we accept materialism, religion begins to lose its authenticity because we lose our faith in an unseen God. This is the only world. When we come to you to speak on Imam al-Mahdi and the return of the Khilafah, then we'll see how Europe or Western civilization applied this philosophy to political thought. And the modern secular state emerged. And then there was the attack on the Khilafah. The Khilafah was destroyed and it was replaced by the modern secular state. That is a lecture on Imam al-Mahdi and the return of the Khilafah. Now we come to the heart of today's talk. What are values? What is al-akhlaq? At the very heart of power is al-akhlaq. Anyone who is internally corrupt can never build power, internal power. All values come from Allah. And we're going to take tonight two values in some detail and show you what happens when the value no longer comes from Allah, but it comes from the secular society. Lahul asma'ul husna, 99 beautiful names. And in each of these beautiful names is the foundation of al-akhlaq. He, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is al-wadud, the God of love. He is ar-Rahman, the compassionate God. He is ar-Razaq, the one who provides. He is al-Ghaffar, the one who forgives. When values come from Allah, then they are truly values. And al-akhlaq is actually the process through which we imbue ourselves with divine attributes. Takhallaqu bi akhlaqillah, said the Prophet alayhi salatu wassalam. The enemy wants to infiltrate our ranks. One of the ways in which the enemy infiltrates the ranks is to try to get spies. Pay him some money and he'll go into the masjid and he'll sit and he will listen and he'll tape record and he'll go back and report. The spy. There was a young man in Miami, and the